So why was now the right time for the Aesthetic Society and ASJ proper to decide to launch an open access journal?
I'm glad you asked. It's a good question. So the driving force for us and working with ASAPs as well was really twofold. So one is the growth of open access as an area, but the other is the tremendous success of ASJ. ASJ has gone from strength to strength in recent years. Its impact factor has climbed. It's gone up to 12 issues, and it's turning away a lot of good work. There's also an opportunity as the field grows to embrace new forms of research. So we've done a lot of speaking before about aesthetic surgery and media, which doesn't traditionally fit into a scholarly communication package or an article. ASJ Open Forum is a really great opportunity to have more media. It's going to be more clinically focused. It'll have more featured operative techniques. And the best part of all is it'll be free at a point of access. So as aesthetic surgery as a field grows globally, we really want to make sure that the journals have access to that audience, and rather the audience has access to the journals, and open access is the perfect way to do that. We really feel it'd be fantastic for young surgeons as well, for residents who are looking to get early publications, which is increasingly difficult, to put more case reports in. There's so many opportunities actually for a brand new journal. That was really the driving force. The ASJ is so strong now that actually a new journal would bring a new opportunity to the market.
So there's three things that I'm particularly excited about with regard to Open Forum, and that's video as an opportunity to publish an article in video format. And under that same video umbrella would be the My Way articles and the featured operative technique articles. So these are articles that traditionally only published in ASJ that have now been rolled over and can only be published and submitted to ASJ Open Forum. So talk to us a little bit about that kind of innovation when it comes to open access and experimenting, if you will, with an open access journal, things that you couldn't do with a regular subscription-based journal.
Certainly. So I define it a little bit less around open access and subscription, but I would say one of ASJ's great strengths is it has a growing impact factor, and there's obviously a lot of debate around impact factor, but it is important in the community. Articles like video articles don't tend to be cited very much, and there's a kind of a discussion within editorial boards whether they're suitable for a journal. Now, we strongly believe that ASJ should be as good as it possibly can be, and measure that in lots of different ways. So we would like to have those articles available somewhere, and we see ASJ Open Forum as the perfect venue for it. Items like featured operative techniques, like My Way, are also areas for debate. I think it's good to see a technique in practice, and then for other authors to either write comments or to suggest letters to the editor or their own articles critiquing them or supporting these techniques. And I think ASJ Open Forum is a really fantastic venue for that. It's open, which means it has a huge audience, a huge potential audience, and allows people to go in and have a look and create some debate and really just move the arguments along in terms of the research of the field. It's also gives access to more junior members, as I said before, which allows them to take a look viewpoint and then find out these new techniques, but also perhaps get some mentorship from those authors as well.
So you mentioned debate, and to quote Dr. Nahai, the hallmark of a scholarly journal is being open to debate and varying in differing viewpoints. So I think that's an excellent point, and it does give us the opportunity to do things like invited commentaries. We see that a lot in ASJ, and I think people really respond well to it, letters to the editor. But to your point about the junior residents and trainees, case reports, I think they do still serve a really important purpose, but you're right, they don't traditionally tend to be very highly cited. So it gives them an opportunity to have another line on their, another citation on their CV without sort of having a negative impact on ASJ.
Exactly. Yeah, I think another benefit is that ASJ does turn away a number of incremental studies as well. And one of the big debates within science is about the value of incremental studies and negative results and other areas, and reproducibility studies. One of the good examples of that is if we have a case series of 100 cases, the value of publishing something at 200 cases in ASJ, there's not a huge novelty factor.
Sure.
However, there is a lot of value in science for that because it reinforces that this really works. And ASJ Open Forum is a perfect venue for that. It shows that that's a study which has a place in the scientific literature.
And also, we've had questions about when will the first print issue of ASJ Open Forum come out. So correct me if I'm wrong, but open access means strictly online, correct?
It does, yeah. So ASJ Open Forum will be an online-only journal. I think as journal publishing evolves, we're seeing much more the online version of the journal as being the core. We see most of usage coming through the online version. That is not to say the print is not important. Print's extremely important. I know a lot of people read the print cover to cover, and we receive a lot of feedback, a lot of positive feedback about it. But for ASJ Open Forum, we believe that online is the best form of dissemination that allows it to get to as wide an audience as it possibly can.
You mentioned usage, and we talk a lot about the bibliometrics. So how has ASJ Open Forum, which is a quarterly online-only publication, been performing so far in terms of usage?
It's been performing very well, actually beyond our expectations. I think it really delivers on the promise of open access, that it's no longer appealing just to a smaller subscriber base, to ASAP's members, to institutional subscribers, but actually globally. And so one of the great benefits I think we'll see from ASJ Open Forum is to be able to measure where usage is coming from, which we can do already, but without any barriers of paywall, we can see if there's areas of the world which are underserved. So if we, for example, if we got a lot of usage coming out of Chile in South America, we could maybe do a little bit more work to attract authors from those areas because we know that the journal is addressing a need. So yeah, I'm very pleased to say it's very early days with ASJ Open Forum, and I think we should all be aware of that. We've only been in our second issue now, and it will publish quarterly, but everything is looking extremely positive in terms of usage and that wide dissemination, which after all is really the point of every journal.
Now, I know some authors have asked us what the impact factor of ASJ Open Forum is. Is it covered and indexed by PubMed, etc., Clarivate? So talk us through the process. How long will it be until authors can expect an impact factor and expect to see things being indexed and covered?
Absolutely. So there's two aspects to this. So we'll talk about PubMed first. So ASJ Open Forum, when it has published enough content, which is roughly around 40 articles, will go into what's called PubMed Central. PubMed Central is PubMed's open access repository. Now, by process of being in PubMed Central, those articles will then link through into PubMed as well. There will be a separate formal application process into PubMed, which we expect to be complete in probably about a year and a half. PubMed has a bit of a backlog in terms of processing things. OUP have done this very successfully with a lot of journals, I should say. So PubMed has a number of rigorous, as you'd expect, barriers to cross. We've made sure the journal is set up to cross all of those, and so we expect to be in PubMed in a not too long a time. In terms of impact factor is going to take a little bit longer. We expect, optimistically, I think about maybe 3 years. Optimistically, what will happen is that Clarivate, the company that runs Impact Factor, will apply for inclusion with them. They'll put us likely into something called their Emerging Sources Citation Index, where it'll be fully indexed. And then, on a yearly basis, Clarivate do an assessment, and key titles from that sub-index are then promoted and receive an impact factor. That is entirely their decision. We don't get a viewpoint into it. We do some advocacy work, obviously, but it's very much based on the metrics they're seeing coming out of the journal. So I'd be optimistic and say 3 to 4 years, but obviously we'll be putting a lot of energy into making sure that happens.
And I think that all kind of ties back to the quality factor. So
Exactly.
If we accept the right articles, the usage is high, the readership is good, hopefully that will all help towards receiving an impact
Precisely.
factor.
Yeah, exactly. They take a lot of things into consideration. Peer review is a large part of one. They want to make sure we're doing peer review in an effective way, in an ethical way, so we have a large amount of ethical guidance on the journal, conflict of interest, all those elements to make sure that the work we're publishing is the best it very can be. There's no conflicts of interest, there's no influence from industry, that it is academically sound content. And that's the core of what we're trying to achieve.